So just to get us started, a little bit about Space Incorporated is we are a women-owned small business headquartered out of Midland, Michigan, and we are a commercial interior design firm. So we've got about 25 employees. We've been doing GSA work since 2014. So we're headquartered out of Midland, Michigan, but we also sit out in Alexandria, Virginia, and we also sit inside the Humphrey building down on Federal Center Southwest. Overall, we've done business in just about every state. And really, the reason for the webinar this morning was to tell you guys about what we're seeing as the future of work. We know that's important. We've gotten a lot of questions on that, being a trusted advisor on what we're seeing out in the marketplace. So the first thing that we're looking at and staying current on is the executive orders. I will say Michigan's been a little bit different, not the federal executive orders, but the state executive orders. So we've been really following those as closely as we can. But we also are looking at the overall federal executive orders. And the one that's jumping out to us right now is protecting worker health and safety. That is paramount, especially to be able to bring team members back into a safe environment. And then from a small business perspective, it's extremely important to be able to do that safely. So the future of work. About a year ago, geez, almost to the day, we had a really compelling event, and that allowed us the opportunity to look into the market and pivot. We think the three areas that are going to be influential, not just in government, but in commercial, are going to be these three areas: workplace design, sustainable solutions, and then creating a healthy environment. So we've always had, fortunately, really great designers. High performance design is going to be a component for the future. Typically, what we're seeing right now is more of a hybrid workstation. We're not seeing the one-to-one workstation ratio that we used to, and we're seeing a hybrid solution. We're also seeing a little bit of a contraction on commercial real estate. Whether that be in the federal government or commercially, we're seeing people leveraging their real estate differently and optimizing it. We're always going to lead with that design. That's what we've been doing for a long time. And then we're going to try to wrap these two solutions that we brought into our portfolio recently. We just got these on GSA schedule about a month ago. And the middle one that we're calling Sustainable Solutions is our Space Anew, and that's an upcycling program. A little bit different than refurbishing. It allows us the ability to manipulate the product and reimagine the space. We are also worked with the Michigan Recyclers Coalition to develop a certified sustainable program, which allows us to document that all the furniture assets or whatever has been upcycled on that project has been documented, and that we can create a path in which we can either help with LEED certification or well building initiatives. Then finally, we wrap that up with creating the healthiest environment we possibly can. And this is why we brought in our Space Facility Armor. This is an antimicrobial technology. Again, we haven't had a compelling event that needed this level of technology to be brought into the work environment, but this solution is also on GSA and allows us to round out this package in the portfolio of the future of work. So we're coming at this with workplace design mixed with sustainable solutions, mixed with creating an extremely healthy environment for all team members. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a really high-level overview of Space Anew as well as Facility Armor, and then we'll go into some questions and answers. So Space Anew is our upcycling program. Probably the easiest way we can describe this is Jen and I are similar to the Chip and Joanna of fixer-uppers versus doing all new. So that should paint a little bit of a better picture for you guys. We're able to renovate and upcycle, but the passion and the purpose behind why we did this was to save the environment and keep furniture assets out of the landfill. So to date, we've kept about 1 million pounds out of the landfill. Our goal is 5 million pounds. And this product and service that we just got on a GSA schedule allows us to do that. And actually, office furniture is pretty heavy from a weight standpoint. So when we're looking at cubicle furniture, cubicle systems, as well as private office furniture, we are able to make a pretty good impact with that. So high level overview, what Space Anew is, it's an innovative and highly sustainable workplace design solution that allows us to upcycle and reutilize existing furniture assets. This one's flipping pretty quick for you guys, but this is actually a PSC job out in Bethesda. And the expensive part of systems furniture is the electrical and data distribution in the bottom of the panel, but also the manpower to get it in and out of these buildings. So when we did this specific project, as you can see, it's dated colors, not overly ergonomic, not a ton of access to daylight and views. So what we did was we kept the spline with that cubicle systems furniture. I think this was Knoll Centra, if you guys are familiar with manufacturers. And then we were able to add in the ergonomic and the adjustability with a different manufacturer. So this is very similar to blending a Chevy and a Ford. And we're some of the few that have the capabilities to do that. And it allows the end user, optives, and agencies more flexibility on what they bring into that suite. So we got rid of a lot of the heavy panels. We reduced the height of the panels. As you can see, there's definitely more access to daylight and views. And then we added in surface mounted ergonomics and new ergonomic tools such as chairs and monitor arms. So we're able to take a 15-year-old systems furniture and bring it into the 2020 industry with ergonomics and solutions. So to give you the rest of the overview of Space Anew, we're minimizing the environmental impact. We are able to document that environmental impact. And then we're giving the optives, agencies, and our commercial clients the flexibility to use different manufacturers and reutilize the existing assets that they have. And it's typically about 30 to 50% less expensive from what we're seeing. Now, a lot of times that isn't taken right off the top of the project. A lot of times that's redeployed into different aspects of the project, whether that be new LED lighting or ergonomic functions or the ability to make some collaboration areas and add some technology. We're seeing all of that. And then at the end of the day, we make it look easy and we also make it look beautiful. We get a lot of really great feedback for our end users that it looks brand new when we're done, and that's really the goal. So that was our sustainability solution, and that's how we can leverage your existing assets on site. So you don't need to go out and buy all new office furniture. We can upcycle and we can reimagine the existing furniture that you have on site. So now we're going to go into facility armor. This is how we're creating that really healthy environment for not only all the team members, but all the subcontractors and clients that you're bringing in and out of your buildings. So when we're talking about this, there's a couple different ways to think about microbial growth in an environment. And really, we're focusing on mitigating and managing the transfer routes. So our process is a two-step process. We disinfect with a hospital-grade disinfectant. You guys will hear that a lot in the from your cleaning company using Lysol or a 10-to-1 bleach solution. That's still necessary, and that's the first step in our process. We also use an electrostatic application for that. So that removes that human error and really creates and allows us the ability to do large square footages thoroughly in a short amount of time. So we give that 15 minutes, that disinfectant to dry, and that's really poisoning the microbes. Well, whether that be mold, mildew, viruses, bacteria, that gets our substrates really clean and free of the biofilm. We give that 10, 15 minutes, then we come back through and we reapply with the same electrostatic application our space facility armor. And what that is the antimicrobial technology that's applied to the substrates, whether that be porous or non-porous, carpet or work surfaces. This molecularly bonds to that substrate. So the Lysol and the bleach and our hospital grade disinfectant poison the microbes. Then we come behind it and we create a long lasting mechanical killing agent. So as you can see, this left side of, we'll say, the work surface has not been treated. The right side has been. So if you think about the fogging technology, the electrostatic application is the steam of a shower that thoroughly coats the inside of your bathroom. Then we come behind it again with that antimicrobial technology. And if you think about this as 1 million electrically charged needles on the work surface, as those microbes fall onto that, there's an inherent attraction as well as the mechanical killing agent of puncturing the cell walls. And that's what gives us that longevity on site and the ability to reduce the amount of disinfecting periodically and create a safer environment that's easier and that's more sustainable as well. I know I'm going a little bit fast for you guys, and I know a lot of people are going to have different knowledge and experience with antimicrobial, and we'll answer some of the questions in the chat. But if you do have anything additional data, metrics, or science that you need behind the solution that we're bringing to the table, that's something that you can reach out to Jen and myself, and we'll provide that for you, whether you're in the healthcare industry and you need specific metrics, or you're a government facility and we need to make sure that we're following specific guidelines. We can help you guys with that. So a little bit more on how this works and why we picked this. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. We did not go with the least expensive option available. We went with the most sustainable, environmentally friendly, and effective solution that we could possibly bring to the table. That being said, we are able to create an ROI on this, especially if you are doing high levels of disinfecting. So the reason that we brought this into our portfolio, again, was that it's accepted by the EPA for food prep areas. That was very important for us. And then it also does not transfer into the environment. So as that is molecularly, once it's applied, it molecularly bonds to that substrate. So God forbid you do throw it in the landfill down the road, this technology and chemistry will not leach off the work surface into the environment. Another thing that was extremely important for Space Incorporated to bring this into our portfolio. And then the ability to protect visible and non-visible areas. As you guys know, if you've watched a cleaning company thoroughly clean an area, there's room for human error, and this technology takes that out of it. So there's an inherent attraction, almost a magnetic attraction from our chemistry and technology to the substrates that allows us to thoroughly apply that treatment to all substrates inside in an environment. And then lastly, we were able to get this GSA approved. I think it took us 7 or 8 months to get this through the rigorous protocol and approved by GSA. And we're happy to say that Space Anew, as well as Space Facility Armor, is currently on schedule. Okay. And then one other thing that you guys are going to hear about is healthy buildings in the future. And there are 9 different aspects to that. Space can touch on 4 of the 9, leveraging our sustainability solutions as well as our antimicrobial facility armor. But you guys are going to hear more about this. At first, it was lead building. Now it's going into well building. And this creating healthy environments is going to be something that's paramount in the future. So really looking at how the environment supports the physical, psychological, social health, and well-being of people is extremely important. And this is the 9 foundations of healthy building that we're seeing as very apparent going forward, not just for GSA, but also commercially. So the ventilation and the air quality, thermal health, moisture, dusts, and pets, safety and security, water quality, noise, lighting, and views. Lighting and views can easily be leveraged using our Space Anew process. And then we can look at the ventilation, air quality, dust, pests, microbes with our facility armor. If we go into a holistic approach, what we do is we assemble a team for this, and we call it a build it right team. So say we got a project in the future that you guys are interested in creating a very healthy building or an environment for your team members, this is how we would do it. Okay, so I'm going to give this back to Jen so that she can talk a little bit about facility armor and the ROI that we're seeing out in the marketplace. So Jen, I'll kick it over to you.
Okay, great, perfect. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the numbers. What you are seeing here is a budget modeling based on a facility that's approximately 20,000 square feet. So just keep that in mind as we go through the example. We'll start with Agency A. So Agency A is paying approximately 10 cents per square foot for their disinfecting. So they go in to their facility, they do that initial disinfecting program, about $2,000. What we're finding in research and both what facilities are telling us back and agencies are telling us back is about every 90 days, they have to come in and re-disinfect again due to having either a virus or a COVID case or some sort of scenario like that in their facility. So they're having to repeat doing the disinfecting every 90 days on average. So throughout the course of a year, that's a total investment of about $18,000. And you can see with Agency B, they're paying 15 cents per square foot, Agency C, 20 cents per square foot. And you can see how those numbers add up. So anywhere between $18,000 and $36,000 a year on disinfecting and the need to keep continually disinfecting after a new exposure. Facility armor, which Pat just explained, is a little bit different. So as he mentioned, you come in, we do the disinfecting first, do the facility armor treatment after, and it's a one and done application for the year. So that's an initial investment of $8,800 for a 20,000 square foot facility. And that's it throughout the year. There's no need to come in and reapply the facility armor or re-disinfect after every single COVID exposure case. So you can see when Pat talks about ROI, there's a really strong case with the numbers that this is a sound investment. The $8,800 will be a cost savings when compared to the number of times that you're going to have to come in and continually disinfect your facility in the long run.
Yeah. So I think that gives us a good segue. I know we came at you guys really pretty quickly from a high level overview standpoint, and we've got a lot of different optives, agencies, and industries on the call. So the frequently asked questions that we typically hear, we figured we'd start with these, and then we will go into the chat and see if we can answer some of these. So are the products in the space facility armor EPA approved? Our products are fully registered by the EPA and able to be used safely and effectively in the built environment. We get that one actually probably our most frequently asked question. Are the products in the space facility armor approved by the CDC? So the CDC actually doesn't approve products. They provide guidelines for categories or products, and our products fit those categories. Space facility armor uses only carefully selected products that are listed on the EPA-N list. Okay. Why is facility armor such a different program? With the understanding of the marketplace, we've selected the best technology we think for the system. And that allows us the ability to go into different environments, different industries, from medical facilities all the way through the government. And what is the benefit for the topical approach of the space facility armor? So we have a hospital grade disinfectant that is coupled with a long-term persistent and consistent surface preservative to provide sustained antimicrobial activity for up to 2 years. The way that this works is it's really as durable as the substrate that you put it on. So when we come into the environment and we do a zero contact assessment, what we would do is we would come into we would set up a Zoom call and we would have you walk us virtually around your environment. We look for clutter and how much stuff you guys currently have on the desks, as well as what kind of equipment you have. Then we rate it into an A, B, or C building. When we look at bringing that, after we do the assessment, again, we look at the amount of clutter that you have, and then we help you guys from a change management coach your staff. The cleaner and less cluttered we can keep the environment, the safer we can make that workspace for that particular individual. So if you think about it, if you keep a piece of paper on the work surface and we come in with our electrostatic technology, that can't access the substrate underneath that piece of paper. So we need that piece of paper removed so that the technology and chemistry can access the substrates that we're trying to protect. So just to clarify that. Okay, has the program been safely used before? Yes, this is another reason why we brought this into our portfolio, was the longevity of it in the market. It was invented 30 years ago out of Dow Chemical, or actually Dow Corning, and it's a silicon-based molecule. So yes, the program has been used extensively in the most stringent environments where safety is a priority. It's been used in healthcare, hospitals, implantable medical devices, cancer center, and direct food service areas. So if you guys think of this as almost like an OSHA requirement, as we come down into the different industries, being accepted into the medical industry gives us a lot of credibility, or gives this product a lot of credibility. Oops. Is the product durable? Yes, we've got numerous studies that have all been done at universities and regulatory agencies to verify the durability against physical wear and repeated cleaning. The products used will not abrade or leach under severe use and conditions. Again, I will say this though, if you clean your carpet with a lawnmower and you remove the top fibers of that carpet, that will remove the technology. But this technology is as durable as the substrate we put it on. So why should you add facility armor to your cleaning regimen? The extended time of the microbial control and the reduction of mold, mildew, bacteria, and virus treatment provides a consistent and persistent protection for all the seen and unseen surfaces in your built environment. So another reason on a larger scale that this is a great solution is it reduces the amount of harsh disinfectants that you need to do frequently. And once you get this facility armor into your building, we recommend using a treated microfiber cloth versus additional paper towels and additional disinfectants. But we do ask that the biofilm is removed from the substrates. So say somebody's eating at their desk and they leave food on their desk, microbial growth can grow on that food. So we ask that the biofilm is removed frequently to create the safest environment we possibly can. Okay, so go ahead, Jen. I know we've got quite a few chats going, so.
We sure do. Yep. Question, and I think Daniel gets the prize for most questions. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for those. So first question: how is physical separation, social distancing, maintained in the example that we've shown with Space Anew?
So that's a great question. This is done based on the individual business drivers for that specific organization or entity. If 6-foot social distancing is a concern and a regulation that we want to adhere to, we will base our design around that. I will say what we're seeing though is a reduction of occupancy levels in the conference room. And sometimes if you are very densely populated inside, we'll say a cubicle system, then we do have to remove some of the cubicle systems to allow for that 6-foot social distancing. One of the things though that we're doing at Space Incorporated though is trying to design in the ability to re-densify your environment. So say you go from 50 stations down to 25, we want to keep that kit apart and give you the ability to go back to 50 if that is something that you want to do in the future, or if you have a future growth model in place and not the ability to change your actual building. So did I catch that, Jen? Did I answer all aspects?
I think so. I'll wait to see if there's an additional note in the chat, but I think so. So next question.
I'll just add one more thing to that, Jen, is that we will pick the portfolio products needed to adhere to the CDC regulations. So whether that be our facility armor mixed with sneeze guards, mixed with higher panels, that's the solution that our designers will bring to the table for you guys and give you the ability to look at a few different options. Okay.
Good. So next question is from Linda. She says, what happens to the spray, meaning the facility armor, once it's wiped away from cleaning the surface the next day? Will it need to be reapplied soon afterwards?
No, that's a great question. But what we do with our facility armor is the disinfectant takes 10 minutes to dry. Our facility armor takes, we say up to 4 hours. It depends on the humidity and a lot of other factors. But once that cures, it creates a molecular bond, and it actually gives us a little bit of additional stain resistance after the fact. But no, disinfectants will not remove the facility armor from the substrates. Now, if you chip the laminate or, you know, the top of the laminate comes off, then yes, we would need to reapply to that specific surface. But overall, you don't need to continuously reapply like you do with a disinfectant. And that's really the benefits of this.
Great. Now, Pat, I'm going to circle you back to the last question. You had made an example of when the workforce, if you're going from 50 workstations down to 25 and being able to give our clients the ability to expand back up to 50. Can you repeat what you said right there?
Sure. So I think the overall message that we're trying to convey is that from a design standpoint, we will design this with options of the future for you guys. Now, if you come to us and say growth is very important, we will keep that in mind. I will say, though, that we're not seeing a 1-to-1 office ratio, and we're also seeing creating sanctuaries for businesses. So instead of everybody having their own cubicle, what we're seeing is a hybrid solution. So instead of having 50 8x8 cubicles, we may have 25 6x6s and 25 single work surface stations, just from an example standpoint. But the ability to have different access to different equipment and collaboration than you do at home is going to be important. So it may not be all offices in the future. It may be more access to huddle rooms or dual purpose rooms, and then the ability to use those as offices if you continue to grow. Hopefully I answered that one. Okay, Jen.
Mm-hmm. Yep, no, I think so. I think it was just that we needed to repeat the example to go through, and she just didn't quite catch it. So yeah, great. 3 more questions to go so far. The next one is, what independent test lab certifications are available on facility armor? So that's a great question. We'd have to circle back. I don't remember the exact studies off the top of my head, but it was a cancer study service, and this has been done over a long extended period of time. So what we typically do is we have really great case studies that show the data and the metrics behind this. And if you put your email address into the chat function for Jen and myself, we'll follow up and we'll send you the MSDS sheets for the disinfectant, the facility armor,
as well as the case studies that we had from the medical industry that shows, the safety and the longevity over a certain amount of months.
Okay. Yep. Great. And we can, I think we can pull this pad for the participants today, and we'll just go ahead and send that out to anyone who registered on the call, so you guys have that available. Great. Okay, next question. Regarding the durability of the facility armor, what constitutes severe use conditions?
That's the first time we've had that specific question, so that's a great one. Anything extremely abrasive, I guess I would say, and anything that's gonna affect the substrate. So carpet, blinds, laminate work surfaces, and wood work surfaces are all going to have a different level of durability associated, as well as a metal door handle or something like that. So each specific substrate is going to be different. Now, untouched, we've seen really great studies lasting a very long time from a longevity standpoint. But we did do these in the Midland Public School buses. We are getting a lot of kids with backpacks, and all sorts of stuff in there. And from a longevity standpoint, it really comes down to that specific substrate. So the substrates inside of a metal bus are extremely durable. So we aren't seeing, anything from kids going in and out of buses that would affect the treatment. Now, that being said, the only thing I can think of from a harsh treatment standpoint would be applying, something like applying a wax over the top of the flooring. That will cover up that coating. So it's less about the harsh abrasiveness and more about covering up the facility armor. If they do have specific examples, though, definitely put those into the chat, and then Jen and I will circle back with you independently. And that's another thing that we're happy to have one-on-one questions with you guys after the fact, if that's something that you guys would like to.
Great, cool. Well, one last question so far in the chat, and that is, how do you measure performance over time? How do you know when a reapplication is required?
Ooh, that is another great question. So there is different levels at which we can approach this. And one of the things that we ask the clients as we're going into this, is this a compliance strategy or is this a fully committed to safety strategy? If you guys are fully committed to safety, what we will do is look at not only touching the substrates, but also looking at the HVAC and the ventilation, and then bringing in, we actually partnered with an industrial hygienist. I will say the testing would be an additional cost and depends on what level you guys would like to do this at, but we would bring in an outside third party, our industrial hygienist that we partnered with, and she would help facilitate the testing associated with this.
Great, and right now that is the last question on the chat. So we're good. And just as a reminder, we will be sending out to everyone on the call the capability statement that has the link to the studies, as well as the MSDS sheet. So you'll have those after the call. Okay.
Well, again, we sincerely appreciate everybody's time to be able to jump on this call. Our goal is to continue to bring that thought leadership, those innovative ideas out to the market. One, to get you guys thinking, but two, to help protect the team members that you guys have inside your environments. Again, like Jen said, if you have any additional questions, definitely reach out to us. You can see the email address on the screen, and we will follow up with the collateral. So you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and we look forward to chatting with you in the future.